Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Almighty Allah, the entirely merciful and the specially merciful. Dear viewers across the planet, I greet you with the best greeting that we have learned from our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace be unto all of you. Ameen. Dear viewers, we are asked by our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam to share this greeting with the ones that we know and the ones that we don't know. We can share it because it's so beautiful. It spreads in the air the spirit of peace and comfort. It makes everybody happy when he or she hears it. So therefore we have this opportunity to share it with everyone who watches this program. Dear viewers, we really are asked not only to share the greeting, but we are asked to implement it. Because as you know from the name of the religion itself, which is surrendering yourself to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to His will and His command, and this in itself will spread peace in the whole world. This is something that everybody would love to see and hear and enjoy in his life, a peaceful life. We do seek support from Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to implement this peace. Ameen, ameen. Dear viewers, welcome to this program. It's a program about treasures from the Holy Quran. It is a golden opportunity for everyone to take treasures. Before you take the treasures, you know the value of these treasures. The value of these treasures, it is the words of Almighty Allah. That's so unique in this world that there's no similar things to it in any other source. Therefore, we are lucky and alhamdulillah, we are blessed by Almighty Allah to share this kind of knowledge from Almighty Allah. Then we are asked to understand them very well. And we are asked to share them with other people. The most important thing is to implement them in our lives as individuals and as communities and as the whole nation, because this is what makes it significant. Dear viewers, welcome to these treasures. Welcome to the words of Allah. Welcome to the Holy Quran, and get ready to take as much as you can from it. Now we are in chapter number 29. 29, this is Surah Al-Ankaboot, where we studied in previous episodes some of its statements, some of its ayat, as we call them in Arabic language. And now we are going to take today two of the ayat. And you have seen the ayat, or this chapter takes us from an angle to another angle to another angle, and all of them, of course, are connected. And I hope you still remember the beginning of the chapter. أَفَحَسِبَ النَّاسُ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. Talks to people. Do they think that once they say that they are believers, they will be left alone? No, they will be tested, which tells us, which implies to us that everybody, every human being is going to be tested in this world. From one test into another, from one test into another. Yes, sometimes the tests can come from a positive source. Comes from wealth, a lot of wealth you have. Comes from even your kind of education that you got. Comes from the children that you have. Comes from the spouse that you have. You never know where the test and the tribulation will come to you from. So therefore, a Muslim should be ready and should, when you confront anything, you just accept what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you. And you should encounter the test in the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to encounter. First, you seek support of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even before the test comes to you. And you all the time see what Allah asks you, how to behave in any situation and use it in your life or in dealing with this test. But you will be tested, no matter who you are and wherever you are and how wealthy or how poor you are, we will be tested. So this is one of the things that Muslims know, that this will happen. And therefore we encounter these tests with open hearts, as we say. We have this opportunity that Allah is testing us. So this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, Allah knows the tests and the nature of them and our responses to these tests. But this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us so that we would be aware of that. These tests are things that they will upgrade us or downgrade us. In this way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it very clear for us that these are ways to test us so that we can be classified as believers and not believers. And we are not the same. We are on levels and different grades. Therefore, it is very essential and very important for everybody to know that. I'm quite sure that there are some people who know that, but some people, a lot of people are not aware of that. This is the nature of the life that we live in. And don't ever think that you will pass this life without being tested and judged. So this is the nature of the life. So the more people know about that, the earlier they know, the more ready they will be ready for these tests. Here, then the ayat goes into other things. But what attracts me and attracts many people who reflect upon the Quran is that it talks, these ayat or this chapter, as many others, they address human beings, which in itself an implication that this book is a global book. It addresses mankind. It addresses all human beings. It's not something only for the believers or something only for the disbelievers, but it is something for all mankind. So everybody should benefit from this. And this is your golden opportunity to learn about humans and to learn about the nature of human beings and to know, most importantly, we know more and more about our Creator, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here we are talking about ayah number 19 and 20. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أولم يروا كيف يبدئ الله الخلق ثم يعيده إن ذلك على الله يسير. Following ayah, قل سيروا في الأرض فانظروا كيف بدأ الخلق ثم الله ينشئ النشأة الآخرة إن الله على كل شيء قدير. Ayah number 19 can roughly be translated as, see they not how Allah originates the creation, then how He repeats it. Verily, that is easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ayah number 20, say, travel in the land and see how Allah originated the creation, and then Allah will bring forth the creation of the hereafter, the resurrection after death. Verily, Allah is able to do all things. As you can see that the two ayat almost talk about the same theme, which is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala originates and creates these things around us. The flowers, the trees, this and that and everything. See, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates them. Then as we see them, they die. And then Allah recreates them again. And this is very obvious in the plantation, and this is very obvious in the trees and in the cultivation, in many things, if not everything around us. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells in the following ayah, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does this with everything around us, He does it with humans. We had been created by Almighty Allah, and we will definitely die, as many of our parents and grandparents have died. We see this by our naked eyes in our daily life. Then, after death, yes, there will be resurrection on the day of judgment. On the day, it's another name for it, as you know, Yawm al-Hisab, the day of resurrection. The day that everybody will be questioned about his actions, his or her actions. So, this cycle, you had been created, and then you lived your life, and then you will die, and then after that, you will be resurrected. Yet, some people have some doubts in that. Although they can see it everywhere, wherever they go, they can see this. And look at the cycle of the plantation. Look at the cycle of the flowers. Look at the cycle of all these crops and things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates around us. And then they grow, and we harvest them, and then they die. Then after that, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends rain again, the land will grow again, and they will come back again. This cycle that we see is the cycle of everything. And this is, again, the same thing that will happen to humans. Yet, although humans, they see that everywhere around them, when we talk about humans and they will come back again, they will resurrect again, and they will be questioned by their Creator, by their Lord, yet they have some questions about that. They disbelieve in this. Why don't you apply the same rule that you see with plantation, but you don't want to accept with humans? What's wrong with that? Why is this inconsistency? And Allah gives us all these examples in our life so that we would be completely sure that this will happen to us. A Muslim already knows that, and knows that this will happen to him and to everybody. Every human being, starting from Adam and Eve, who were the first of the creation of Allah, of humans, they will come back to this life. Our parents and foreparents and our relatives and our children and our dear ones and everybody who lived on this planet and died, he and she will come back again. You see, the move from the beginning of the ayat, it's almost the same theme. Yes. And you will be tested, and this is part of the test that we are in. We are tested by our beliefs. Do you believe in that? or you don't. Some people say, yes, we do. And some people say, no, we don't believe in that. Muslims believe in everything that came in this book, the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the verbatim of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we believe that what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has stressed this issue of recreation, of resurrection. Muslims are quite sure that this will happen. And Allah all the time gives them these examples so that their faith becomes stronger and stronger, so they know that for sure they will come back, and after death they will come back to life because of the resurrection. Every human being, there comes the day of al-hisab, the day of counting. We will face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we will be responsible for everything that we have created. As you can see from the ayah, it talks about things that concern every human. It does not talk to about specific things. Rather, it talks about globally. You can see the language is a global language because it addresses all the people who live and who have lived and who passed away on this planet. It tells them what will happen, tells them about the future. So, and this is something very significant about this book. The span of this book, because it talks about the creation of the first human that already happened, and the present situation of the people and what goes on in their life and what they encounter, and all these are considered tests, and it tells them about the future that will happen to them. Not to an individual person, to every human being. That's why we say that this is so valuable. It's a book that's so valuable. It concerns every human being. It talks about themes that concern all humans. So it is indispensable for any human being. Everyone wants to know what will happen in the future, what will happen after death, what will happen after resurrection, what will happen. This book tells us about this. So the span of the book is so wide that includes the past and the present and the future. So it's a book that is really so valuable and so important for every human. That's why we say that nobody can live without knowing about this book. Otherwise, he or she will be lacking a lot of knowledge, not only about others, but also about himself. What will happen to you when you die, when you go to the grave, and when the day of resurrection happens? It is something should be of the concern of every human being. And therefore, we do thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us this valuable thing and valuable knowledge that everybody is in need of, versus a lot of people are living without knowing who created them, how he created them, and how they die and what happens to them after that. A lot of people don't know that. So this is something very important, and I wish that you can share it with people around you. Therefore, we do thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything that we know and everything that we had been guided to. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى اللهم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.